Alright, welcome to Align Trading, going over today's SPY recap and live analysis before taking a look at what to be watching into tomorrow. So first thing that I explained in the pre-market brief for Discord members today was to be watching for the continuation of this larger cup that we talked about that could ultimately close right here as we had regained this 5-day moving average here on Friday. Now, we were looking for the revisit of the 20-day, which you can see here in the morning. We formed that initial support off of as we tried to close this cup. However, we fell short right here as could not get above this. And I'll talk a little bit about this level and why this was a place. So with that level that I mentioned right here, you can see how this is a very important level, keeping this head and shoulder right here still in play. And then you also have to pay attention to the blue and yellow controlled selling algos that I talked about. Sorry that I cannot get that line straight, but there we go. You see how we are breaking out of that yellow and blue, regaining this 5-day, grabbing that liquidity, but we were unable to close that cup, build that handle to see this continuation, and then maybe again, right, we see another blue and yellow controlled selling algo and can continue higher, forming this larger inverse head and shoulder. Now we will take a look at this on the 1-minute chart and go over some of the structure and setups here, such as these two beautiful inverse cup and handles, one at this 20-day and then one at the low of day. Both gave some very nice entries, which we will go over. So here on the 1-minute chart, going over the microstructure and algorithms, first thing in the morning, you can see how this 20-day was above us, and I talked about paying attention to this head and shoulder that was forming. Now, you can see right here, if you're looking for this larger one, it's the same thing, right, with this pink algo. So you got to see that head and shoulder form. We don't form that handle right there to give that dump. And you can also see this blue and yellow controlled selling algo that begins to start working here with that inverse head and shoulder. Once again, right, blue and yellow holding that 20-day, and we begin to move up here. Now you can see how choppy it is in the morning. We are moving higher within this pink algo, but it is not really even something you want to be trading unless, right, you're in this entry above the 20 and your runners are working, whatever the case may be. But you could get chopped around here very easily, especially where you're waiting for this possible short, right? You see that inverse cup, that handle does not form here. We don't grab this. You would want to see that inverse cup back to low of day, which does end up forming, but look how long it takes, right? We have to see this further tapering as we are still in control with that blue and yellow that I mentioned. You can see us being guided this whole way, and then we start to even see this pink algo right there that gives us that inverse head and shoulder. So now at this point right here, I was explaining on the 30-minute chart that if we do continue within this buying algo to close that cup, I would personally be not involved, not going to chase the top. There was no entry for me like we talked about just a minute ago, with this being just whiplash here, hard to stay in that unless you had a good entry down here. So I just stayed out of it until something else set up, got a little bit better of structure, and that is when we start to see, right, that tapering algo right here. You can see how we are starting to lack the momentum for if we were to continue, right, we would see that buying algo and that continuation towards this right here, but we did not, and you see how that tapering starts to form. There's an inverse cup and handle there as well. Head and shoulder, another inverse cup. You can even see that handle. So you have to be paying attention to this, right? As we move down, there are several inverse cups here, but most importantly, that one to the 20-day that we talked about for that first setup on the 30-minute. and then the one at the low of day. So again, talking about that 20-day moving average with that inverse cup right here, you can see how I'm explaining you have to pay attention if we do want to grab this liquidity that we built and form this breaking out of this pink algo that we have been within. Pay attention to that if we regain that 20-day. Otherwise, look for that handle right here, and you see how we get this beautiful head and shoulder right within this handle that starts to form even another inverse cup and another handle within that red, and there is that move down, another handle, right, another inverse cup, same thing. So you just got to be paying attention to this. Plenty of scalps here, not so much within this, but you can see how the patience will reward you. And then even here, right towards the end of the day, you have another head and shoulder, as well as this inverse cup and handle right there that starts to form. Another inverse cup and small handle there as well. But there is once again another short opportunity. But back to the 30-minute chart now and going over what to be watching into tomorrow. So as I talked about with this 20-day moving average that we had formed resistance at once again today, as we did previously rejected this 20-day, you can see right here. So watch this closely, but we do need to see us turn this 5-day into resistance again if we are to head back down to this bottom Bollinger and maybe a further downtrend. But into tomorrow, we are between the two moving averages, so understand this can be a bit of a range here. And if we are going to move higher, pay attention for us to regain that 20-day and continue to close this larger cup right here. You can see how this can be the sort of structure forming. Otherwise, you are going to want to pay attention to this 5-day moving average right there and getting back below this level right here. So if that does happen, pay attention as we can start to head back down, and this could be a larger inverse cup and handle right here. You see how that could play out as well, something like this. Remember though, we did build liquidity if we do want to head back up tomorrow, so be paying attention. This can very easily form, and you do not want to be trying to short that. Only short this if the opportunity presents itself, right? So same thing here on the daily, right? Pay attention to this cup that is trying to close. If we can get back above that 20, that is what you are looking for. And then we want to see if some sort of larger inverse head and shoulder is forming. We are headed back to this upper Bollinger. But that is all I have for the video, so thank you everyone for watching, and I will see members in the morning.